Hello to my Eckerd Eagles. This is Ms. Johnson, your RTI specialist. I just wanted to inform you of some critical information regarding our Tier 2 students. As we know, it is so very important that we will keep and that we must keep accurate records. Wanted to go over some very important information that you will be responsible for throughout the year. Hey, this very first form that you see is a form that will identify all of our boys and girls. This form has their ID, their name, first name and last name, the grade level, homeroom teachers, and then we have it broken down by reading and math that will identify where the deficiency is, exactly where you would serve that student. Okay, the last two columns talks about the reading teachers, which is in yellow, and then the last column talks about our math teachers. Okay. For my math teachers, this is going to identify and let you know exactly where your students are and how many you need to service. Say, for instance, Ms. Spurger. Ms. Spurger, here's your group. You would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 students that will have teal folders that you will need to see at least 3 times a week, document all of their information, and make sure all of that information is in their teal folder. As we know, it is crucial that we document everything that we do for this child, because we're trying to make a difference in that child's life before we move them to the next tier. Okay. This form right here is going to be a form that is going to be submitted to the district. I will need all teachers to submit this form right here, which is going to be a copy of the log of your Tier 2 students. The first column, you're going to put our school. Next column, you're going to put your name, because you are the person that will be the intervention, that will be given the intervention. Have the student's ID, their last name, first name. In this column here, it talks about the grade, which will list the grade. In this column is the tier. Your tier for this child will be Tier 2. In this column, instead of the 45 minutes, your time will be 30 minutes. At least 3 to 4 times a week, you need to have it documented that you have met with that child at least 30 minutes per day, per week. This column right here is the date. In this column, you're going to identify whether you are using a computer-based intervention, one-on-one. You will note that in this column. In this column, you're going to also identify the skill. Talk about if it's a program, what program it is, and how you're going to address the needs of that child. Here in this column, you will talk about what strategies you're using, what strategies you will be using for that student. The last column, you're going to list whether the child has mastered that skill, if the child is still struggling, and what additional skills or ideas you're going to assist that student with. Okay? Moving on to our other forms and our documentation for our teal folder. In our teal folder, again, as I've always stated, and I'm stating again, it is mandatory that we keep accurate records at all times, because we want to see the growth of our students. Or say, for instance, that child is not progressing. At that point, we need to have everything documented so we will know the next tier the student is going in. Okay? These are the forms that needs to be in our teal folder. The first form is going to be this yellow form. This is our parent notification letter. It is crucial that we have this form signed and returned as soon as possible. That will go on the left side of your teal folder in the pocket. Here is another very important document that talks about the recommendations for this year. And it will be for the current math tier, which is fall. That student will be tier 2. Okay. Here we have additional documents that will also go in our folder. This is our session summary form, and this must be completed for all of our students. Every month, you need to make sure you have documented how many sessions you have rendered to that student. You will be recording in the tier 2 the number of sessions you have met with that student. We will do this for every month. The next document or form is your red form. This is the RTI session log sheet. It's that form that's going to be right in the front to identify how many times you've met that student. So right behind the red form is your log sheet. You're going to have a track sheet of your student in their folder of how many times and when you're meeting with that student. The next form and documentation is a green form, and it talks about the computer-based programs that you have used, reports that you may have printed. All of that needs to follow behind this green computer-based program report. In this folder behind there, once you have all of your reports from Think Through Math, Fractionation, Fast Math, or the Easy CBM. The Easy CBM is going to be that assessment that you use to probe your students. Every tier student should be probed once a week. I'm sorry, every 2 weeks. Okay? Additional suggested documents that should follow behind your computer-based programs report will be any work samples that you have, assessments, a copy of the progress report, the report card, or any other pertinent documentation. Okay? All of these are all of the documents. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to email me or stop by. Also, this is going to be very important for you to go ahead and save this information, save the video so that you can refer back to it. I will also attach a template and a spreadsheet of all of the students that you will serve, along with a template so that you can track your students. If you have any other questions or concerns, again, please feel free to contact me. I will also put in your box teal folders and other additional forms according to how many students that you're going to service. Again, this is Ms. Johnson. Have a great day. The choice is yours.